over. We will, it's August 19th. We're going to call the meeting to order at 3:11 p.m. Thank you everyone for joining. Very excited about getting the construction committee meeting going again. Our last meeting, as you know, is in February. And then in March, we were hit by COVID. Just to update some of you, because I see some new people that I don't know, and we want to do some quick introductions in a minute. Well, actually, we'll do the roll call first. Why don't we do that? We will do the roll call. And Teresa, you'll be able to capture everyone? Thank you. All right, we'll start with, and I'll call your name as I see you on this list, I think. Oh, there we go. And please, when you join, please mute, and then I'll call you and you can just state your name. We also need in the chat your name. What did we get before, Teresa? Just name and email. Is that correct, or do we do anything else for registrations?
Yeah, I think we just had names. We had a sign-in sheet before, so.
It was name and email, and was it phone too? Okay, so name, email, and phone. No phone? Yep. Oh, what's no phone? No phone. So name and email, please, in the chat, because we need that for our sign-in sheet, if you will, for today. So why don't we start with, if I miss you, please forgive me, but I'm going to go with, because the page is moving around a little bit, but we'll start with Robert Lowery. Unmute, please, and introduce yourself real briefly. Hi, Robert. Can you hear us? Can you hear me? Oh, you can't. But have you tried?
I can hear you.
Oh,
are you there?
Good. Yeah, you're there. Perfect. Hi, Robert.
Hi. Yeah, I'm Robert Lowry with Meriwether and Williams.
Wonderful. Great to see you. Please put your name and email in the chat, and then I'll go to Ethel Rubio.
Hi, good afternoon, ladies. It's great to see you all. Ethel Rubio. I have my own construction management company, and I really want to get involved with this committee. So however I can help, if you want to put me on a chair or vice chair position, I'll just put it out there.
Well, we love people who like to get involved. Great to see you, Ethel, or hear you. Okay,
yes,
great.
Yes.
Wonderful.
I'm not camera ready, so that's why I'm like just on.
No worries. Felipe Olivar.
Hi, Felipe with Suka Construction, just listening for the first time.
Oh, wonderful. Welcome. Glad to have you. Sheila Ray Given.
Yes, from PG Chuang Engineering. Again, just thank you.
Great to have you. Okay, I think you guys moved off a little bit. Susie Bravo.
Hi, Susie Bravo from Atlas Technical Consultants. I'm joining for my first time as well. I can't figure out how to use the chat feature.
Oh, Cynthia, how does she, is at the bottom of the screen? It should show up at the bottom.
So the chat feature is available through the live stream only, but since you are participating in the participants room, you may ask your questions during the general question time.
So Cynthia, how do we, so thank you so much for that. If you're not talking, if you could mute. So Cynthia, how do we capture our registration sheet? How do you suggest we do that when we need their emails?
If they can, well, at this point, since everybody is on our participants link, if you would like to email me your, send me an email, then I can capture your contact information.
Okay. And Teresa, can you just get the names in for everyone and then we'll compare them with the emails?
Yeah, I'm typing in as everyone, but all I'm getting is the name. That's it.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
And Life Size will capture the names as well.
Okay.
But
Wonderful.
not the contact info.
Yeah. All right. And Martha Valenzuela.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for having this TBAC construction committee meeting. I look forward to participating and getting involved. I'm with Modern Times Incorporated, and we are a DBE company that specializes in development, implementation, and coordination of community programs on large projects throughout LA and the country. So happy to get involved with you guys and happy to be here.
Oh, wonderful. Stewart Solutions.
Hi there, Walter Stewart here. We're a small startup just getting started, but we're selling right now decorative hand sanitizing dispenser stands, stations, more of a marketing piece, automatic dispensers. Also have a background in construction, but I haven't gotten there yet with all the capabilities.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Wonderful. Thanks for being here. Next, we'll go to Sharon Coleman and then Ebony Pearson.
Sharon Coleman. I am president of National Association Minority Contractors in Coleman Construction.
Wonderful. Great to have you. And Ebony Pearson.
Hi, Ebony Pearson, Business and Community Liaison with Los Angeles Job Corps. First time listening into this committee meeting. I'm looking forward to just see what I learn.
Wonderful. Well, we're great to have you. Is there anyone that we have not called? All right, so we'll go to our Metro partner.
Teresa Maxwell.
Yes, of course, Teresa, our support extraordinaire.
Yes, Teresa Maxwell with Skanska, and Cynthia has kindly offered to let us email her our emails, but I don't know your email, Cynthia. Would you mind sharing it?
Yes, absolutely. It is C as in cat, Swero, S as in Sam, U as in umbrella, E-R-O, Gabler, G-A-B-L-E-R, at metro.net.
I got it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. And yes, Teresa has been a great support to this committee. As you know, this is all volunteer run. And we've added a support role because all of our committees needed a secretary support to help with the admin, to help coordinate, get all of that done. And Teresa has just been there since the beginning. How can she help? And so we've been very fortunate to have her and really appreciate her being involved. Thank you, Teresa. And Cynthia, our partner with Metro.
Yes, I am the Senior Diversity and Economic Representative for LA Metro.
Wonderful. And Mr. Young.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Gordon Jung. I'm also with Metro DEOD.
Wonderful. All right. So we have a great group here. Really excited about doing it online because it seems like we have more people coming out, and maybe it's this time too that works well for everyone.
Representative for LA Metro.
Wonderful. Oh, and Mr. Young. Oh, it's recording.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Gordon Jung. I'm also with Metro DEOD.
Wonderful. All right. So we have a great group here. Really excited about doing it online because it seems like we have people coming out, and maybe
the individuals
that work well for everyone.
Tuning in as a presenter also has the live stream at the same time. And the live stream is a few seconds delayed. That's why we're hearing the delay. So if everyone can please, if you are also using the live stream, please turn down the volume on your live stream, and that should work that out.
Okay, great. Yeah, and if you're not speaking, please put yourselves on mute so that we, can get through the meeting. Is there anyone else that needs to introduce themselves? Do we have any?
This is Ali Altaha. I'm here also.
Okay, great. Wonderful. All right, so let's go to, we've done our roll call. Please get your emails, as Cynthia had said, over to her so we can mark those on the registration. And we'll go now to item 3. As you know, on the selection of chair, it doesn't need to be a vice chair, but of the selection of chair consideration, there are at least 2 of you in this meeting finally today, and this has been on the agenda for quite some time. And part of the reason is because we can't get all 4 of you. We haven't had all 4 of you in one meeting. So the decision was made that I'm going to do this at a regular TBAC meeting. We need to get all 4 of you there. With your interest, you can speak to the full body and the body can vote on it. It has taken a long time, and I'm glad that we're doing this via Zoom, but we will do it at a upcoming meeting for that appointment or for that selection, and that will be voted on. Okay, we'll go now to item 4 on old business, how to broaden contract opportunities and outreach to contractors. So again, Teresa, thank you so much for your support on this. If you don't have our February minutes, please review those. And Teresa, if you could just kind of catch us up on where we were with that from our last meeting.
Yeah, so the meeting, again, it was in February, so it was before everything went virtual. And at that time, we were talking about ways to hear small businesses to speak up on any challenges or barriers that they have to doing business with Metro. So to support that goal, we thought it would be important at our next meeting to do it later in the day rather than in the morning, which is what we did with this meeting. So we had suggested that we would say our regular schedule would become the 3rd Wednesday of every month. And we talked about looking into a conference call option for the public. So that's kind of funny. And then we talked about wanting to bring in a Metro speaker and someone to talk about a relevant topic, which we did try for this one, but I think it's good we do our first meeting virtual without a topic. So that was pretty much what we were talking about, having regular, we thought, you know, to hear the small businesses, we needed to have regular monthly meetings, and we picked the 3rd Wednesday of every month at 3 to 4. And that was pretty much all we talked about for this item.
All right, wonderful. So does anyone have any, this was our old business, and again, just some of their history, we had, you know, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 people come into those meetings, and a lot of them also were not always construction or contractors who we really want to have engaged and involved in this committee, have more of them involved in this committee. So if you have other thoughts on that, we want to open that up for discussion, but also I just want to hear if that 3rd Wednesday and if the afternoon is really better for contractors as well. So would love to hear your input. Unfortunately on this, oh, you know what? I can see a hand raised. So if you want to raise your hand, I can call on you. Oh, there, I raised my hand. Or Cynthia. Cynthia, can you see the raised hands?
Yes, I can.
Oh, good. Is there any raised hands?
Not at this time.
I have my hands raised.
Okay. Ollie, go ahead.
So what I'm hearing from you is the purpose of TBAC is to help small businesses and contractors, correct?
The purpose of TBAC is to advise Metro on their DBE and SBE goals.
Okay, so how do we, when you bring in Skanska to this meeting, which is a large company, I think right now, as we speak, it is a fact, undisputable fact. Skanska was fined $1.635 million on one of their projects with LA Metro for doing work for a DBE firm. Skanska also have a history of not paying their subs to the point where the subs are so happy to walk away. So how do you bring someone who is deeply engaged in this to the TBAC meeting to make an advisory role?
Yeah, so thank you, Ollie, for that. So let me address what you're saying. So Teresa's here to help support the committee. She is not an advisory role member of TBAC. She is someone who, after months and months of asking for someone from a member committee to help with the secretary support, she offered to do that, and we accepted it very willingly. We appreciate the support that she has offered, Now, if there have been issues with large contractors, this is a forum, this is a committee that we can address some of those issues. We're not here to attack, but we are here to address the issues. So
the issues have been raised for years and years and have not been addressed. It is only being addressed when the issues are being elevated all the way to the 25th floor. It is a fact, Teresa, with Skanska have been fined $1.6 million. That's a fact. Okay. So I don't expect anybody coming in from a company that is engaged in this kind of behavior with small firms to be in any form or shape of helping TBAC. I simply don't.
Yeah, and I hear you. You would prefer Teresa not to be in the role that she is in a support role. But she is in a support role and she is supporting us currently.
This is not a decision of TBAC membership. This is your decision and only your decision. You have not taken it to the memberships. You have never came to us asking us if you need help. As a matter of fact, I have my name on the list since, when, 2019? And you keep ignoring it. That's a fact also. I think you need to check your email today that I sent to Phil Washington.
So I hear you saying that you would like to do the secretary role?
What I'm saying is you need to follow the rules. The rules is you have to go to the membership and ask and get authorization to do things. You cannot do things on your own.
And I'm asking you, Ali, are you offering to provide support services?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So we will have you supporting as well on support services. Teresa will stay in her role to support. So what I would like for you to do—
You have authorization from the TBAC board. I'm a voting member. Do you have authorization from the TBAC membership to bring Teresa Maxwell of Skanska, which is not a small business, in any form or shape, to bring her to the committee?
Let me share the roles. Yes, Teresa is invited. And she is welcome, as is any large contractor. Teresa plays two roles today. She plays the role as a large corporation that's here to talk and discuss conversation with all of us. She also plays a role here as a support to support us in getting our minutes out, getting the agenda out. But I'm going to ask her to stop that at this point and have you do that. So please take the minutes. Please get everything up and ready for us for our next meeting. Ollie, you will be listed as support. And let me also share with you the role. So the role that is a TBAC role that we are addressing is the chair role. The chair is a TBAC role. That's the one that's going to get voted on. The support is not a TBAC recognized role, nor is the vice chair a recognized TBAC role. So those roles are not recognized by TBAC, but they are here to support. And anyone who wants to come to these meetings, just as our general meetings, anyone is welcome to come. Anyone is welcome to come and help us create solutions. And that is the stance of TBAC. It is a stance of our membership. If you look at our code of conduct, that is what we do. And we don't put there and point fingers at one specific person. We come here to create solutions. So I don't come here and say, Ali, you've done this, you've done that. That's not what I'm about. We're here to create solutions for one another. So as this committee brings solutions forward, that's what we're here to do.
Well, again, I don't believe you're catching my message. The message is very clear. There's a TBAC board, there's members have voting rights, and you have ignored them all.
I hear what you're saying, Ali. So please take, the support role is not a TBAC recognized role, as I stated, but I will, as interim chair, have you in that role. Please make sure the minutes and everything are complete for our next meeting.
It is listed on documents that are official documents of TBAC. So it is, whatever you're saying does not have any weight, honestly. You're listing it, it was your decision without going to the board, without asking for permission, only on your own. That is not acceptable.
Thank you, Ali. We're going to have to differ on that, and we're going to have to move along, but thank you for your input. So let's go now to item B, which is retention release. So retention release was a big one, I think, from last time. One of the issues that came up, and that was Ivan was here. Was that, correct me, Teresa, if I'm wrong? Ivan was here talking about it could go, was at one of them, but we also had language that talked about the retention release being 10% or up to 10%. Can you update the committee here for that?
Yeah, I even attended, I think it was November, and talked to us about Metro's retention release. And the discussion in February, I think we said we wanted to kind of compile the retention release policy from a couple of different agencies and look at the language for, we said, Caltrans, New York MTA, and LAWA. And I think you were mentioning BART.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was where we had left it off, was we were talking about looking at the different retention release policies.
Wonderful. And are there, Cynthia, if you see a hand, you know, I am trying to figure out how to get that on my page. If there's a hand up, Cynthia, can you just put your hand up so I can see you? And then
Yes,
I'll,
absolutely.
if you see any hands raised, if there are any other comments or questions on that. So I don't think we've done anything moving forward with that. I know we did assign some people on those, but I don't think anything's happened. So does anyone have any questions about the retention release, and why? Do you want us to go over that a little bit from the committee on why that's important?
Yes, yes. Can you please just give us an overview on that one? This is Ethel.
Ethel, yes. Thank you, Ethel. So the issue with that, Ethel, is that Metro has made, will retain some of the contract dollars until the end of the contract, till the closeout. And anyone can correct me on this if it's different. But that percentage that they decide to retain until the end of the contract can be your profit. And if you're working at the very beginning of a project, then that retainage, you don't get that until the very end. So it can be, you know, for small and diverse businesses, it can be a challenge. So we wanted to look at that and see what are the other agencies doing on that retention. And I believe Metro's opinion, and Teresa, I think you were in that meeting when we had our committee meeting, Metro's opinion was that they can select the amount that they want up to 10%. And I believe when we read it, our thought was that it's not necessary that it even needs to be there. So there needs to be some clarity on that. Anyone on construction, I know a few of you here on construction would love to get your input and thoughts on that.
Thank you for clarifying that, Shanae. So my thought on that one, and I'm glad you explained it more. I think that it really depends on the size of the project, and also because we're talking about small businesses, like what you said, financial resources for operational might be limited. So I think instead of making you know, a catch-all percentage, that it would be determined by, there would be like a scale, right? Like, so depending on, you know, the affordability of a company to do that, you know, to operate without having to hurt. So I think instead of saying 10%, but there's kind of like a range. So that's my suggestion.
Yeah. Okay. Do we have some comments from those that are involved on some of the construction projects, what you've seen around the state?
Well, this is Sharon Coleman. It varies between, it depends on the contractor. It varies between 0 and 10. Depending on your contract, you can get some contracts. I've had some contracts that they don't charge you retention at all. I've had some contracts that do 5%, and then you have some contracts that do 10%. Your problem with, I would say, retention, if you're on a project that's a huge project, if you're finished your portion, I don't think that you should have to wait years down the line to get your 5 or 10% when the project is over. That's not fair to a small business.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that would be something that we need to really kind of weigh that out, because even if it's 5%, and I got on a project in 2020 and it wasn't due to be finished to 2024, I gotta wait, and my portion finished in 2020 and I gotta wait to 2024 to get my money. That's not fair.
Yeah, exactly. So Sharon, could we have you on like a working committee? So we have, how this committee works is we come up with these working solutions and we make our recommendations to TBAC, and then TBAC votes on them. If the issues impact more than just construction, sometimes it moves over to another committee as well, so that we can all have buy-in and voice on that. And then it'll go back to TBAC. This seems to be a construction related one. And we developed this form, and it's a recommendations form. Sharon would love you to take an active role in that if you could, to kind of help craft that recommendation that Metro.
Okay, I don't have a problem with it.
Awesome. Anyone else want to get involved on that working committee with Sharon, or the subcommittee of this? I think that would be great. And I think, Sharon, what we, and I can talk to you too and help support if you need, and other members, really encourage you to help. If you see information that's happening at Caltrans, if you see information that's happening at Metro, not Metro, but BART and LAWA, in their language where they talk about retention, where it shows favorable for small and diverse businesses, please get that over to Sharon. Sharon, I'm going to ask for your email in a minute, but please get that over to Sharon so she can help craft this recommendation. The thought is the recommendation would come back to this committee. Sharon, when you're ready, we'll all agree to it, and then we'll move it to the TBAC board. Oh, and we have a hand. Yes.
We have a hand.
Yes.
Yay.
Mr. Lowry?
Yes. I would like to help Sharon with that.
Wonderful. Thank you.
You're
Anyone
welcome.
else? Okay, wonderful. All right, I can see the hands
Martha.
now. I think in this one.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
Martha.
I'm
There
sorry.
was a hand raised by Maria.
And Martha, oh, sorry, I thought you said Martha. Yeah. I would love to help Sharon as well on that effort. So if you
Wonderful.
can please me, I'm happy to assist.
Awesome, wonderful. Thank you, Martha.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Please get that over to Sharon. Do you want us to get have Cynthia compile all the emails, or do you want to compile you want us to give them your email?
Cynthia can compile the email.
Okay. So Cynthia, that's 3 people for that subcommittee, the work subcommittee for the retention release best recommendation. Okay, wonderful. Now we'll go over to CUFs, and these are commercially useful function audits from the Metro DOD. As I recall, and if you guys have attended our regular journal meetings, which we hope to see you at every first Thursday of the month, a commercially useful function audit is still being done by Metro. And Teresa, can you update them a brief on what we had talked about at our last meeting, and then we can go into discussion. And Martha, do you have another question, or you have it before we go to this?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I don't have my hand raised, so I'm not sure, but no questions on my end. Sorry.
Okay, no worries. All right, go ahead, Teresa.
So in February, we discussed, in the past few months that Metro, they hired consultants that are going out and doing commercially useful function audits with the DBEs. But the couple of DBEs that were there that had done it, they work on more than one Metro project, and they were having, rather than one person from Metro DEOD coming and doing a CUF audit for the 3 Metro projects, they were having 3 different people come out and write it up. And so last time, Marco Miranda had agreed he would write up his experience about, because he shared where he had more than one, and it was just, as a small business, he shared that it was just time consuming to have to gather a lot of the same information that was going to the same, to Metro. So the discussion was, that's where we left it off, was Marco was going to write up his experience.
Oh, great. Is Marco on the call today, though? Is he on? Okay. Do we have an email for Marco?
Yes, I do.
Okay. It might be great. Yeah, maybe we ask him and see if he has anything he wants to write up and discuss. But I want to open it up also for discussion here. I mean, I can't imagine getting an audit and then doing it 3 times with 3 different people. That takes a lot of time. I can't imagine how much time you took on that. But do we, as a construction committee, see where that would be a barrier for construction firms? And is this something that we also want to look at, you know, again, developing a working committee on it to come up with some recommendations?
Madam Chair, we have a hand raised.
Oh, yes. Ali Altaha.
So going back to the commercial use function and the audit, again, let's take, you know, a $1.5 billion job along Wilshire, and maybe someone can explain, with all these audits that are taking place, how can unlicensed contractor, DBE firm, do geotechnical instrumentation, CCTV inspection, and aerial, and I'm sorry, and also managing a survey company without a state license? Maybe the big contractor can answer that question that is giving us advice.
Okay. Are we talking about, again, not attacking what
I'm
we
not
don't?
attacking.
Okay. So,
I did not mention names. I'm stating facts. You're talking about the number of commercial useful function, and the first principle of commercial useful function is for the company to do the work that they know what to do, not to go and hire someone else to do it for them. That's a pass-through. That's illegal under DBE rules.
okay. So on the DE,
All firms and DBE firms, you should first know the rules. You should know what the 49 CFR. And I'm just wondering, all these auditors that are coming in and walking out, nobody ever caught it when I can just catch it in 3 minutes? That's absurd.
okay. So how is this conversation helping the small businesses and diverse businesses who are having these audits, and they're having more than one?
Well, the audits themselves that are being done, unfortunately, either someone is not understanding what the function of the audit is or not understanding the 49 CFR. You need a state license in order to engage in construction. You cannot just simply open up the door and say, I'm a contractor and I can do instrumentation controls and I can do survey and I can do CCTV. I mean,
Right.
the CCTV equipment by itself, it's about $200,000. Would you buy it so you can go on Wilshire and do the job for $20,000? No. So the only way it could have been done is by using a pass-through, which is illegal, which is the problem with the majority of the issues that we're facing with Metro. Nobody cares about pass-throughs. It's illegal.
So I think pass-throughs is something that we can add to our agenda on an upcoming meeting. But what I want to address right now is item 4, and thank you for your comments. What I want to address right now is item 4, where these audits are impacting small and diverse businesses. So if there's any conversation about this, about how these audits are hurting small and diverse businesses, it sounds like Mr. Altaha is saying there should be more of these audits. I don't know, but what we want to address.
Shanae, what I am saying is very simple. When you have any pass-through, you're stealing an opportunity from a legitimate DBE. And
I got another. Yeah. Oh, got it. Okay, thank you.
We've got plenty of companies that actually are licensed and can do this work, and they're certified as a DBE, but they cannot get in. And the reason why they can't get in, because the big kahuna on Wilshire only want to hire, you know, the ones that they can deal with. And not pay.
Thank you for the comments. I want to address the cuffs, the audits that keep going on for small and diverse businesses. We have Mr. Compton in the call, raising his hand. Hello, Mr. Compton. Or is he here?
Hello, Madam Chair. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Of course.
Ali's bringing up a very good point. It's it's related to this and your specific question, Madam Chair. That is something that we did recognize because we have uh, many consultants. And when I say many, one person is a help when you're understaffed. Because we have several consultants out there and they are working on different projects, some of the contractors who are working on multiple projects or some who are working for maybe the same project, but they're a sub to more than one company or whoever. These contracts get assigned to the consultants to do commercially useful function investigations, a certain way. And what we found as we started logging these in on our tracking sheet is that absolutely that was happening. A subcontractor might have 3 different consultants, might have that subcontractor on their list for whatever reason. It might have been a different project. It might have been because they were being looked at because of a prime who wasn't paying timely. There might have been different ways where they were on multiple lists. So what we decided to do, since that was a real problem, we wanted to come up with a different database or add to our tracking sheet. If a subcontractor had already had an audit and they were performing the same scope of work, then we wouldn't send that consultant out for a second or a third. Once they're audited, they're audited. Now, if they are listed, they will get a second audit if they're providing a different scope of work, or maybe we want to make sure that this other contract that they're doing, we know that they can do the work, or because of the arrangement, it doesn't warrant another interview. But it is a barrier to small businesses. Anytime you require time, that is unnecessary. So that's another reason why we wanted to make sure we were only sending a cuff investigation out when it was necessary.
Right. So taking that into consideration, what you've said and Ollie has said, and what Marco has stated before to us, it sounds now you're saying that if there was a different scope of work, you need to send out a different auditor to go in and address that versus.
Well, it may not be a different auditor. It might be the same auditor. Again, it depends on how these are assigned, and they're assigned different ways. I don't handle that. But if someone is doing work and it's, I don't know, roof tiling or something, I'm just making that up, and the same company is on a different contract and they're doing drywall, yeah, we're going to send someone out. Even though they're licensed with the NAICS codes and all that kind of stuff, we still have an obligation to verify that they are out there and that they are serving a commercially useful function. Now, they might, if you have a small business who's on 5 different contracts, but each one of them they're doing plumbing, and the sizes of the contract are not, hugely different, then we may do one cuff, and that's it for a while. So it's a judgment call on our part, but we did recognize that we were sending multiple investigator or cuff investigators to the same, subcontractor, which, on the same project is not what we intended to happen. So this is something that we saw as a offshoot or byproduct of having multiple consultants come in and report to different people.
Please hold one moment. I do see a couple hands raised. That information I think needs to be, we need to make sure, Ali, that you capture that, because I think there needs to be further discussion on that one. And so I'll go to Ali and then I'll go to Stewart Solutions.
Keith, how are you?
Good, Ali. I had to take myself off of mute.
No problem. Anyway, your statement is accurate in a lot of sense, but let me just bring you a different point of view for a second. We're talking here about sending an investigator, CUP, going into the site and or interviewing the owner of the DBE firm to make sure that they are doing commercial useful function. But everything that I have mentioned today, everything that I have mentioned before, is not a result of
the meeting has now ended.
Is not a result of going to the field and interviewing anybody. All this information is available publicly. So the question that I have for you, instead of sending someone, a consultant or even a Metro employee, if that person, he or she, does not understand the difference between construction and engineering or the details between the two, they would not be able to make a sound judgment. And that has been the problem. Excuse me one second, sorry. That has been the problem. So a lot of this commercial useful function can actually be done in, let's say, for example, the consultant's office or even Metro staff offices. A simple question. You're doing geotechnical instrumentation install. Where is the contractor license? Where's the geotechnical license? You're doing survey. Where is the license? The license, you can find it in 3 seconds, Keith. So when the big contractor in Wilshire start hiring this kind of firms, you know, it's easy, you can easily find out whether they are doing commercial useful function or not. So you don't have to be intrusive on the small firms, the majority of them that are doing well and are abiding by the law. And you need to concentrate on the ones that have a history of doing this work. And these are the ones that are getting most of the work because they're cheaper.
Okay, is there a question? Is there a specific question you want me to respond to? Because there was about 15 things in that.
Well, what you have to is, Keith, what we're talking about now is not how Metro is doing their job, but although well, actually that's not true, but we are talking about these DOD cuff audits that are being done and how they are not benefiting small and diverse businesses. So as it relates to that, we would like to, if you have a comment on that, and then I'm going to move over to Stewart Solutions as the next.
Sure, I can comment on that. And I apologize, I wasn't listening to into the meeting when it started. I came in, you know, when I started speaking. So I didn't hear everything that was said before 3:30, I think. But in order to accurately respond to that, when these consultants go out, their job is to determine whether that certified DBE is performing what that contract says they are performing. Now, there are CUF guidelines, there's CUF rules that are online, and we kind of use what other agencies use, and we add to. We kind of come up with what's going to fit, you know, our best needs. But when we do a CUF, we look to see if someone is licensed and certified to do what they say that they're doing. Now, these consultants are going out and they're looking at that contractor for that project. That's their job. So when you talk about things like the contractor getting work over and over and over again, they're not looking at that. Now, is that something that needs to be looked into? Yes, I think so. Absolutely. When we start looking at, you know, other, you know, things that are not what that consultant is supposed to do during that visit, are they things that need to be looked into? Probably, but it's not that consultant's job. If that small business can produce the license and everything that they're supposed to do and show the facility that they do have the equipment and they do have the capability of performing that function, then they've done what they're supposed to do.
Yeah. So Keith, let me ask, because I'm looking at the time and we have to move over to the EBO and I, which I hope everyone would do. We have some great stuff that's coming up in that committee. And again, that's an ad hoc committee that addresses issues that impact all of the different committees. Cynthia's going to put the link in oh, there's no chat. Cynthia, how do we create the solution? How do we get it to everybody for EBO and I? Is there anyone on here who doesn't want to go over to EBO and I?
You have to use the link, Madam Chair. And we didn't have the chat because you wanted everybody to be able to be heard and stuff.
Yeah.
So everybody is a participant. So we thought you'd be happy with that.
I am happy with that, but I'm not happy with not being able to chat. So
see, you just want everything. See,
I do. I want Zoom. I want an app that can do that. But I appreciate that.
I want an app too.
Cynthia, can you email everyone? Because I want Stewart Solutions to have a comment here. Can you just email everyone on here? We've got 2 people with raised hands. To send them the link to the EBO and I participant link. Are you able to do that?
You're on mute.
About that. Let me make sure we have everybody's email address.
And while do you need to call them out?
Let me touch base with my team. Hold on.
Okay, thank you. And while she's doing that, would it be helpful then for us to have another conversation with Metro on how they do their their CUF audits? Is that something the committee would like?
Sure.
Okay. So Keith, why don't, because it sounds like you have more details that you want to offer on how those audits are done. Doesn't sound like we have we want to move more conversations around this. So maybe we could invite you or someone else who's that part of that to come up to our next meeting.
Yes, and I do want to continue this discussion with Ali, because I want there to be clarity as to what fits into the CUF, what doesn't, because he brings up some valid points. But I do want to probably invite Elke, because I'm working with some consultants, and she's working with a lot of the other consultants who do the mega projects.
Okay.
I do the non-mega projects, just so you know, and she does the mega projects. So I might try to get her to participate.
Yeah. So let's, Ollie, just make sure you get that in the notes so that when I do the next agenda, that we have Elke, we invite Elke as well.
Keith, you do have my number. You know how to reach me.
Yes, sir, I do.
Stewart Solutions, your comments, please.
Yes, real quick. Thank you, Madam Chair. I have a background in auditing, and it's audit for the airlines, Department of Defense, and there's some best practices out there. And first of all, you don't have to be intrusive. You can be non-intrusive. And then also, there's a whole slew of checklists that you can use to ensure that during the CUF audits that they're in compliance. And again, everything's supposed to roll up to the FAR requirement, just like Ali was saying. So it looks like they need to really look at the program, whether people are being certified, uncertified, all that stuff. So I would like to be part of that discussion as well.
I think that would be great. So what we're going to do is we're going to have the non-major and the major CUF audit experts at Metro come and speak to us again. And your name Stewart?
Walter Stewart.
Walter, I think that this sounds like it has a working committee with your name on it to help us come up with some best recommendations or best practices.
Sounds good.
All right. Ollie, please make sure that the notes capture that as well. So I have another hand. I think that's it for the hand raises for this one. We unfortunately are not going, it's now 4:01. We're not going to get through our entire meeting. Our new business will stay as new business. We're going to take off the broadened contract opportunities, but we do want all of you to please outreach to different construction firms. We want to have more construction firms involved on the construction committee as well and providing input, because this committee can really help to move small and diverse contracting firms forward. Also, we're going to have a working committee that's going to be led by Sharon Coleman to come up with this. And Sharon, if you don't have the form, Berwin Salazar has that, and you would just, we would put it on there. And again, the process will be you and your committee will work on that. You'll bring it back to this committee. We agree to it, and then we move it to TBAC. But how long do you want for that, Sharon?
When is the next meeting?
Third Wednesday
of next month. So we'll probably have a meeting within the next 2 weeks.
Okay. Would that give you enough time, or do you want another month before you bring it back?
Let's see how we come out with this first month.
Okay, so we'll leave this on agenda. I think that's a great one that you guys are tackling, and thank you for that. Thank you, Walter. For the CUP, we'll invite Metro to come and talk more about their audits. New business will stay on, and then I think the next is item 6, non-agenda public comment. I want to see if anyone have any comments on that. I don't see any. I see Stuart and Keith, your hands are raised. Okay. All right. So, Cynthia, do we have
I'm
the
sorry,
email?
Madam Chair.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I was on mute, I guess. My microphone's not working. I kind of heard a little mention of during cuffs or something to that effect, that there were some unlicensed small businesses that made it through cuffs. I'd like those examples brought to this committee meeting if possible. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So, Cynthia?
Madam Chair, we do not have everybody's email address who is on right now as a participant. Only if they have RSVP'd on Eventbrite would we have that information.
Okay. So can we please send out your email again, and they can send you the email if they want to attend, and please just give them the participant link to that meeting.
Yes,
right, so oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Cynthia.
My email address is C as in cat, Suero, S-U-E-R-O, Gabler, G-A-B-L-E-R, @metro.net.
Wonderful. And Keith, am I to understand you want the names of the firms brought forward to this committee? Is that how you're asking to handle that?
Keith just left the room.
Okay. Let me clarify with him on that one. All right, it's now 4:04. I want to thank all of you. I want to share with you before we leave one thing. I am interim chair here, but as chair of TBAC, I will tell you, every one of these committees is open to everybody. If anyone feels unwelcome, is chastised, is put in a situation, please read our code of conduct. If you are not abiding by our TBAC code of conduct, you will be removed. That is my statement as TBAC chair. There's a code of conduct. Please look at your agendas. We're going to add it. Ollie, make sure you add it to this code of conduct and to our agenda so we can adhere to it next month, and all going forward. So I hope I've made myself clear. That is how we will proceed, and we are here to help support small and diverse businesses, not put barriers in their way. So I want to thank all of you for being here. I appreciate you. Everyone, this is volunteer work that you are doing, and I want to thank you, each and everyone, for being on the call. So thank you for your time, and let's continue to grow. Vote yes on prop16.org. Make sure you do it. And I will see you over in Ebo and I. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Shanae. Great to see everybody.
send the link. Cynthia will send the link for Ibo and I to everyone that registered via Eventbrite as well.
Thank you.